All right, let's talk about something we all think about at some point, belly fat. But what if I told you it's not really about how you look in the mirror? It's about something much, much more serious happening deep inside your arteries. We're going to dive into that hidden danger today.
So let's just get right to it. Is that extra padding around your waist just an appearance thing? About how your jeans fit? Or is it a sign of something deeper, something way more important going on under the surface? I think the answer is going to surprise you.
Yeah, there's absolutely a hidden danger. This is where we stop talking about looks and start talking about the cold, hard medical facts. We're about to uncover what that belly fat is really doing to your long-term health, especially when it comes to your heart. So, on one side, you've got the common belief, right? It's just a cosmetic issue. But then, bam, you see the medical reality. And it's a completely different story. That fat is a major, major player in clogging up your arteries, putting you on the direct path to heart attacks and strokes. It's not just sitting there harmlessly. It's an active threat. Okay, so how do you know if this is you? Are you at risk? Well, we're not talking about the fat you can pinch. We're talking about the deep stuff, the visceral fat that wraps around your organs. And get this, it acts like its own little factory, just pumping out inflammatory chemicals 24/7. The simplest way to check? Get out a tape measure. For women, a waist over 88 centimeters, or about 35 inches, is a red flag. For men, it's over 102 centimeters, or 40 inches. That's a huge sign your body is in a state of chronic inflammation. All right, let's peel back the curtain and see how this whole mess happens. For decades, cholesterol was public enemy number one, right? The big villain in the story of heart disease. But it turns out that's only half the picture. The real culprit, the one that kicks off the whole destructive chain reaction, is inflammation. So here's how it goes down in 3 simple steps. First, that constant inflammation starts roughing up the super smooth inner lining of your arteries. Think of it like taking sandpaper to a polished surface. Second, because that lining is now damaged and sticky, cholesterol, which would normally just flow right by, starts to get stuck. It begins to pile up. And finally, that pileup hardens into something called plaque. This narrows your arteries, and that's when things get really dangerous, because it can lead to clots. This is probably the best way to think about it, and it's brilliant. Inflammation is the spark. High cholesterol is the gasoline. See, high cholesterol on its own is just a puddle of fuel, but when you add the spark of inflammation, whoosh, you get a raging fire in your arteries. You have to put out the spark first. And look, it's not just belly fat that's lighting these fires. There are a bunch of other things that are basically fanning the flames every single day. Things like smoking, not getting enough exercise, being stressed out all the time, not sleeping well, and of course, the big one, eating a diet that's full of inflammatory foods. It's like throwing kindling on the fire. So that leads us perfectly into what we need to talk about next, the food. Let's start with the bad guys. What are the foods that are literally destroying your arteries from the inside out by fueling all this inflammation? Okay, here's the lineup of artery wreckers. First up, ultra-processed foods. You know, the stuff in crinkly bags and boxes like chips, cookies, and instant noodles. Then you've got sugar and especially high fructose corn syrup, hiding in everything from sodas to sauces. Next, refined carbs. Think white bread and pasta. Then there's trans fats, the absolute worst, found in stuff like margarine and a lot of fast food. And finally, too much saturated fat from things like fatty red meat and full-fat dairy can add even more fuel to that inflammatory fire. All right, that was a lot of doom and gloom, I know. But here's the good news, the really great news, actually. This is not out of your control. You have so much power to fight back. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about the foods that are your allies, the ones that actually protect your arteries. Think of these foods as your personal artery protection toolkit. You've got extra virgin olive oil, which is loaded with powerful antioxidants. You've got fish rich in omega-3s, like salmon and sardines. They're basically inflammation firefighters. Nuts, like almonds and walnuts, and seeds like chia and flax are full of those healthy fats. And you can't forget legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas. They are absolute champs at lowering bad cholesterol. Now, let's zoom in on one of these for a second. Oats. A simple bowl of oatmeal, what's the big deal? Well, the special kind of fiber in oats can lower your bad cholesterol, that's the LDL, by up to 8%, just from eating them regularly. That is a huge win from something so simple. And the good news just keeps on coming. We just talked about oats. Avocados are another powerhouse rich in those healthy anti-inflammatory fats. And get this, dark chocolate. Yep, you heard me right. As long as it's the really dark stuff, over 70% cacao, it can actually help make your blood vessels more flexible and improve blood flow. How cool is that? So let's be real for a second. There's no magic wand you can wave to magically clean your arteries overnight. It just doesn't work that way. But that's not the point. The point is that you are in the driver's seat. By focusing on lowering inflammation and keeping your cholesterol in check with the right foods, you can make a real, tangible difference. And that's incredibly empowering. Okay, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final question for you personally. We've talked about the problem, how it happens, and what to do about it. So, what's it going to be? What is one small thing, just one, that you can start with today? Because that one small step, that's where everything changes. Thanks for joining me.